Today in our 2017 Ford Escape, we'll be having a look at and installing the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56320. All right, here's what our wiring looks like installed. This wiring harness gives us the basic lighting functions that are required by law in order for us to safely tow a trailer. Our green wire here gives us our right turn signal and right brake light. The yellow wire gives us our left turn signal and left brake light. Our brown wire here is our tail lights and running light circuit, and our white wire is our ground. Now both our green and yellow wire have 3 amps of power output per side, and our brown wire here has a total power output of 6 amps for our tail light and running light circuit. So if we're towing an older trailer that only has a few incandescent light bulbs on it, we'll be okay. If we're towing a newer trailer that has a lot of LED lights on it, we don't have anything to worry about because LED lights do draw less power than incandescent lights do. Our wiring harness has this nice dust cover that you slide on over it to protect the wiring when it's not in use. This will keep any dirt and debris out of the connector, causing a poor connection or a short possibly. And you can also use this to secure it around the safety chain loops on your hitch so your wiring is readily accessible next time you tow your trailer. This will help keep it from dragging on the ground as well. Now what I really like about this wiring harness is that it's plug and play. You don't have to do any splicing of any of the factory wiring, and also you can actually mount the 4-pole flat connector inside the vehicle if you prefer, to help even further protect it from the elements, or if you want, you can have it on the outside like we do. Now that we've gone over some features, we'll show you how to get it installed. All right, to begin our install, we'll start by opening our hatch. Now we'll take out all of our floor coverings. All right, if your vehicle is equipped with the premium audio package, you'll have an amplifier on the driver's side in the storage bin. We'll need to unplug the 3 connectors on it. 1, 2, and 3. Just push in on the tab on the top and pull back to release. Same for all 3. So here's the tabs again. Just press it on the top and you can pull back to release it. Now on the passenger side, we have our satellite radio module. We need to unplug this as well too. Start the antenna, push it on the tab, pull back. And the wire harness here, do the tab on top. Now these styrofoam panels are held in place with 2 plastic clips, one towards the front and one towards the back. We'll remove these with a trim panel tool by popping up. Then we can lift the panel up and out of the vehicle. We'll do the same on the other side. Now on each far end of our threshold here in the center of the vehicle, we have a T25 torque screw that we need to remove. And then further towards the center, we have a plastic push pin fastener that we'll use our trim panel tool on to remove. And we have the same thing on the other side of the panel. Now the panel, we can just grab it, pull on up, set it aside. Now we need to remove our side panels here partially. Use our trim panel tool, get in behind, and then pull to separate it. We'll do the same on the other side. Now we have 2 plastic covers that go over the fasteners that hold our taillights in place. We'll pop these out with a flathead screwdriver. Behind those covers, we find 2 8mm screws. We'll remove these. Now we'll grab our taillight assembly and start pulling it towards the back of the vehicle to release it. There's a tab on our connector right here. So I'll press in on this tab and pull back to separate. And here's our tab that we pressed in on, just like our other connectors. You press in, pull back, it's released. Now keep in mind, everything we do on one side of the vehicle, we'll repeat on the other side. Now we'll take our grommet here, where our taillight wiring harness comes in, and pull it on out of our vehicle. Sometimes you have to push them in all the way, then you can grab it and pull out. Now our connector that has the red, brown, and yellow wire, we're going to take and route behind our driver's side panel, and it'll come out the hole where the grommet was for our taillight wiring. Now we'll plug the male end into the female end on the car. These are keyed, so they can only go in one way. And we'll push it in until it clicks in place. We'll pull back and make sure it's secure. Okay, now we're going to cut a slit in our grommet so that our wires can pass through it. I'll just use a pair of side cutters for this. Okay, I made a little L-shaped notch in it. I find when you do an L shape, the wires pass through a lot easier and cleaner, and the grommet installs a lot easier. With that done, we'll reinstall the grommet. So you push it back in, and then pull it through, just like that. Now our kit does come with a small tube of black silicone sealant, but we do have larger tubes available on our website if you'd like to purchase one. And we'll use the silicone sealant to fill in where our slice was that we made. This will help prevent any moisture from entering our vehicle. Okay, we routed our connector with the green wire behind our driver's side panel. And we'll just have this be underneath our threshold when we reinstall it. Now we'll stick this out through our taillight opening on the passenger side behind our panel, the same way as we did on the driver's side. Okay, now we'll plug our two connectors in. We'll reinstall the grommet. Now we'll seal our grommet on up in the same fashion with our silicone sealant. Okay, now we will take our T-connector harness and plug it into our taillight assembly. Make sure it clicks, and pull back and make sure it's secure. Okay, with our connection made, we'll reinstall our taillight. Okay, we'll plug our other taillight in too. Okay, our roll of black wire that comes with our kit, we'll strip off the insulation from one end. Take one of our butt connectors, stick it on the wire, crimp it on down, and we'll attach it to the black wire that comes off our module. Now we'll wrap our butt connector up with some electrical tape. This will just help keep any dirt, debris, or moisture from entering the connection, causing a poor connection or a short circuit. And from this point forward, any other butt connector that we have, we'll do the same thing with. Okay, now we need to find a place to attach our ground wire. The kit comes with a self-tapping screw, so we can secure it to our vehicle sheet metal. However, there is an existing ground point right here. It's a factory ground. I'm going to use that one instead, so we don't have to drill any holes in our vehicle. It's an 8mm screw. With the bolt removed, place it, the ring terminal for our ground wire, onto it, and then reinstall it into its original position. Now we need to mount our control module. It's attached to our vehicle with double-sided tape. This shelf right here, right above our subwoofer, your vehicle may or may not have a subwoofer, is an ideal spot to put this because it's out of the way and it's not going to be interfering with any other parts of the vehicle. So I'll take our double-sided tape, peel back one side, stick it on the box, press down firmly, peel off the other side, and we'll stick it into position. Press down firmly. Okay, that's not going anywhere. There's a hole right here, right next to it. We'll drop our 4-pole flat wiring on down through that hole. Pull it on down through. We'll do the same with our power wire too. All right, we went ahead and took a couple zip ties, secured up our green wire, the 4-pole flat, and our power wire here to an existing wire harness to keep them away from our subwoofer grill. That way when the subwoofer hits, we don't have the wires in front of it rattling. Now we need to locate a grommet to pass our 4-pole flat wire through and our power wire for our converter. There's one located just in front of our subwoofer, so that's the one that we'll use. These grommets were like the other ones for the taillights. You just kind of push it in and then pull it out. Now we'll drop our wires on through. Now we'll cut a slit in our grommet again. Pass our wires through. And reinstall the grommet. We went ahead and sealed up the grommet with our black silicone sealant, just like we did the other 2 grommets. Okay, with all of our connections made in the back and all of our wires passed through, we can now reinstall our interior panels. Okay, when we put our center section back up, we want to make sure our green wire that goes over the passenger side is behind it. We also want to make sure our weather stripping sits on top of the threshold. Just roll it back and then it snaps down on top of it. Our 4-pole flat wire, you can see where it comes out of our grommet here. I put it in some black wire loom to help conceal it better underneath our vehicle. We routed it towards the back, above this fascia support bracket, over our driver's side tailpipe, above another fascia support bracket, comes down. And then we used our dust cap here to secure it to the safety chain loop on our hitch. This will keep it readily available when we need it and keep it from dragging on the ground or touching the exhaust. Our power wire, we use our grommet, comes up above our rear subframe, making sure we clear all of our moving parts and sources of heat such as the exhaust. We zip tied it to this wiring harness here. Then we go underneath all of our plastic underbody panels. You can see where it comes out this one and then enters the second one. And then we brought it up right to the end of our front subframe, right where our firewall starts on our vehicle. Now we'll drop down a pull wire. All right, here's where our pull wire came down. I took the liberty to tape our power wire to our pull wire now. Now we'll use our pull wire to bring this wire up into our engine compartment. Now we'll take off our cover for our battery. To do that, just lift up on it, pull forward. Okay, we'll measure off about how much power wire we're going to need. Cut off the excess. Strip back some of our insulation. Okay, we'll put a butt connector over the wire now. Crimp that down. Take our fuse holder. There's no fuse in it at this point in time, so I just want to point that out. Remove some of the pre-stripped insulation. Strip back a little bit more. Stick that into the butt connector. And I'll crimp that down too. Take off the insulation on our fuse holder on the other end. Strip back a bit more. Slide on our ring terminal. And we'll crimp it down. Now we need to attach this to the positive post in our battery, which is right here. It's a 10mm nut. We'll remove that. There's a washer underneath. Take that washer off too. Place the ring terminal over the stud. Replace the washer. And then we'll put back on the nut. And we'll tighten that back down. Okay, with that tight, we can now place in our fuse and our fuse holder. Push it down in there, and we'll just tuck it down inside like that. Now we'll place back on our battery cover. Okay, now we're going to test our wiring. To do this, we're using a 4-pole flat tester. It's part number I26 on our website if you'd like to purchase one. We'll start by turning on our headlights. And as you can see, our tail light and running light function on our trailer is working. Now we'll do a left turn signal. That's working too. Now we'll do a right. That's working as well. Now we'll try our brakes out. Those are working. And we'll test our turn signals while our foot's on the brake as well to make sure it's working properly. Okay, as you can see, all of our functions are working properly. And that completes our look at and installation of the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56320 on our 2017 Ford Escape.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.